Hey everybody, Anshul here. Today we're talking about something that can really ruin your day: malware. You know, those nasty little programs that can wreak havoc on your precious devices. We're talking viruses, worms, Trojans, ransomware, the whole shebang. Now I know what you're thinking, Linus, this sounds scary. And you know what? You're right, it can be. But fear not, my friends, because knowledge is power. By the end of this video, you'll be a certified malware master, able to spot these digital bad guys from a mile away. We'll cover everything from how to protect yourself to what to do if you get hit. So, buckle up, smash that like button, and let's dive into the wild world of malware. All right, let's start with the classics: viruses. These bad boys are like the common cold of the digital world. They attach themselves to legitimate files, kind of like a parasite, and when you run that infected program, BAM! The virus starts replicating, spreading to other files and potentially wreaking havoc. Remember the I love you virus back in the day? Yeah, that was a classic example. People were getting these emails with the subject line, I love you. And who could resist clicking on that, right? Well, it turned out to be a nasty virus that spread like wildfire, costing billions of dollars in damages. The thing about viruses is they need a host file to do their dirty work. Think of it like this. A virus is like a seed, and a file is like the soil. The seed needs the soil to grow and spread. So the best way to protect yourself is to be careful about what files you download and open. Always scan files with a good antivirus program and be wary of attachments from unknown senders. It's like washing your hands before you eat, a simple habit that can save you a lot of trouble. And for those of you who like to live on the edge and download files from shady websites, well, let's just say you're playing with fire, my friends. Next up, we've got worms. These guys are like the more aggressive cousins of viruses. See, while viruses need a host file to spread, worms are like independent contractors. They can replicate themselves and wiggle their way through networks without any help. One of the most notorious examples is the configure worm. This bad boy exploited vulnerabilities in Windows and infected millions of computers worldwide. It was like a digital pandemic spreading from machine to machine, causing all sorts of chaos. Worms can be particularly nasty because they can spread so quickly and silently. They can exploit security holes in your operating system or applications, so it's essential to keep everything patched and up to date. Think of it like locking your doors at night. You wouldn't leave your house vulnerable, right? The same goes for your devices. Keep those firewalls up, use strong passwords, and for goodness sake, update your software. It's like brushing your teeth for your computer. Do it regularly, or you might end up with some nasty digital cavities. Now let's talk about Trojans. Named after the infamous Trojan horse, these sneaky programs disguise themselves as something harmless, even desirable. You might download a seemingly innocent game or a cool-looking screensaver only to find out it's a Trojan in disguise, ready to unleash its payload on your unsuspecting system. The Zeus Trojan is a prime example. This nasty piece of work targeted online banking users, stealing their credentials and siphoning off their hard-earned cash. Talk about adding insult to injury. The thing about Trojans is that they rely on social engineering. That means they trick you into installing them, often by appealing to your curiosity or desire for something free. Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Don't fall for clickbait links, be wary of suspicious emails, and always double-check the source before you download anything. Think of it like this. Would you accept a drink from a stranger in a dark alley? Probably not. So why would you download software from a website you don't trust? Stay vigilant, my friends. All right, buckle up because this next one is a doozy. Ransomware is like the digital equivalent of a hostage situation. It encrypts your files, you know, those precious photos, important documents, that hilarious cat video you downloaded, and then demands a ransom for the decryption key. Remember WannaCry? That was a massive ransomware attack that hit hundreds of thousands of computers worldwide. It was chaos. Hospitals couldn't access patient records, businesses were crippled, and people were freaking out. And the worst part, even if you pay the ransom, there's no guarantee you'll get your files back. These cybercriminals are about as trustworthy as a used car salesman with a too-good-to-be-true deal. So how do you protect yourself from these digital kidnappers? Well, first and foremost, back up your data. Like, seriously, go do it right now. I'll wait. Got it? Good. Because if you have a recent backup, ransomware becomes a lot less scary. You can just wipe your system clean and restore your files from the backup. Boom! Ransomware defeated. Ever get that creepy feeling that someone's watching you? Well, with spyware, that feeling might just be a reality. These sneaky programs lurk in the shadows, secretly monitoring your every move and stealing your personal information. We're talking keyloggers that record every keystroke you make, passwords, credit card numbers, you name it, and tracking cookies that follow you around the web, collecting data on your browsing habits. It's enough to make you want to wear a tinfoil hat. One of the most common types of spyware is adwar. You know, those annoying pop-up ads that follow you around the web, bombarding you with unwanted promotions. Yeah, those are often delivered via adware. They might not be as dangerous as other types of malware, but they're definitely annoying and can slow down your computer. The best way to avoid spyware is to be careful about what you download and install. Stick to reputable websites and software sources, and be wary of free downloads that seem too good to be true. Okay, let's talk about those pesky ads that seem to follow you around the internet like a lost puppy. That, my friends, is often the work of adware. It's not always malicious in the sense of stealing your data, but it's definitely intrusive and annoying. You know how sometimes you download a free program and suddenly your browser is flooded with pop-ups and new toolbars you never asked for? That's adware doing its thing. It's often bundled with legitimate software as a way for developers to make a quick buck. Adware works by tracking your browsing habits and displaying targeted ads. So if you've been searching for a new pair of shoes, don't be surprised if you start seeing ads for footwear everywhere you go online. The good news is that adware is relatively easy to remove. A good antivirus program can usually detect and eliminate it. And of course, be mindful of what you download and always opt for the custom installation option so you can uncheck any unwanted extras. Nobody wants a browser that looks like Times Square. Now, we're getting into the really sneaky stuff. Rootkits are like the ninjas of the malware world. They're designed to bury themselves deep within your system, operating in stealth mode and giving attackers complete control over your device. Remember the Sony BMG rootkit scandal? Sony, in their infinite wisdom, decided to include a rootkit on their music CDs as a form of digital rights management. The problem was this rootkit made users' computers vulnerable to attacks and was incredibly difficult to remove. Talk about a PR nightmare. Rootkits are notoriously difficult to detect and remove because they often operate at the same level as your operating system. They can hide their presence, making it seem like everything is running smoothly while they're secretly siphoning off your data or using your computer for nefarious purposes. The best defense against rootkits is prevention. Keep your operating system and software patched and up to date. Use a good antivirus program and be extremely cautious about what you download and install. Chapter 8. Imagine thousands, even millions of computers, all under the control of a single attacker. That, my friends, is a botnet. These networks of infected computers, or zombies, can be used to carry out all sorts of cyber attacks, from distributed denial of service attacks to spam campaigns. One of the most infamous botnets was Mirai. This nasty piece of work exploited vulnerabilities in Internet of Things devices like security cameras and routers to enslave them into a massive botnet. Mirai was responsible for some of the largest DDoS attacks in history, taking down major websites and causing widespread disruption. The scary thing about botnets is that you might not even know your computer is part of one. It could be chugging away in the background, sending spam or participating in DDoS attacks, all while you're none the wiser. To protect yourself, make sure your devices are properly secured. Use strong passwords, update firmware regularly, and be wary of suspicious activity. Don't let your computer become a pawn in a cybercriminal's game. Chapter 9. Remember how we talked about traditional malware needing a file to infect your system? Well, fileless malware throws that rulebook out the window. These sneaky programs operate entirely in memory, leaving little to no trace on your hard drive. It's like a ghost in the machine, exploiting vulnerabilities in your system to execute malicious code directly in your computer's RAM. And because they don't rely on traditional files, they can be much harder for antivirus software to detect. One example is PowerGhost. This fileless malware is designed to hijack your computer's resources for cryptocurrency mining. You might notice your computer slowing down or your electricity bill going up, but you wouldn't find any suspicious files on your hard drive. So, how do you protect yourself from something that's practically invisible? Well, it's all about staying vigilant and keeping your system secure. Keep your software patched and up to date, be wary of suspicious links and attachments, and use a good antivirus program that includes fileless malware detection capabilities. Chapter 10. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about scareware. This type of malware is all about psychological manipulation. It plays on your fears, trying to scare you into believing your computer is infected or at risk so you'll pay for their bogus software or hand over your personal information. You know those fake antivirus alerts that pop up out of nowhere, warning you about a critical system error? That's scareware in action. They often use official-looking logos and language to make their claims seem more convincing. But here's the thing, if you didn't initiate a scan or download an antivirus program, chances are those alerts are fake. Don't fall for it. Legitimate antivirus software will never demand payment through a pop-up window. The best way to avoid scareware is to be informed and use common sense. If you see a suspicious pop-up, don't click on it. Instead, close it and run a scan with your trusted antivirus program. So, there you have it, folks. A crash course in the wild world of malware. We've covered everything from viruses to scareware, and I hope you've learned a thing or two about how to protect yourself from these digital threats. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about malware, the better equipped you'll be to spot it, avoid it, and keep your devices safe. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay safe online. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Until next time.